All right, today we're going to be talking about lesson 6-1, so chapter 6, lesson 1. It's called using the percent proportion. So there are two ways that we can look at the percent proportion. We can either look at it in this respect here, where the part divided by the whole is equal to the percent divided by 100. This percent is the actual number, so if it's 35%, we'd be looking at 35. If it was 47%, we'd be looking at 47. Or another way we could look at it is this way, and this is going to be a way that is going to be helpful for us when we're reading what the problem is asking us. So the part is considered to be the is, and that's going to be the number that is closest to the word is. The of is the whole, and then this part over here, the percent divided by 100, that doesn't change. So let's look at example 1 and see if we can't figure out how to use this proportion. It says 12 is what percent of 32? So the number 12 is really close to the word is. So with 12 gets substituted in place of the is. The other number is 32, and that's going to be closest to the word of. So 32 is the of, or the whole. We're looking at the word what. So 12 is what percent? So what is talking about the percent here? So that means I'm going to be having the percent as my part that is missing. Remember back from last chapter when we did cross multiply to determine a missing part of a proportion. So we do 12 times 100, which is 1200, and that is equal to 32 times the percentage. So I'm going to substitute percentage for P. I then want to divide both sides by 32 in order to solve for P. And if I do this, 1200 divided by 32 is 37.5, and then it would be percent, because that was the number that I was missing. So this is 37.5%. All right, let's look at example 2 here. It says, what number is 8.8% of 20? So the word what, it says what number is. So that is going to be the part that's missing. So I'm going to put a P in there for part. 20 is the of, because it says of 20. So I'm going to put 20 in the denominator of this part of the proportion. And then the number that's attached to the percentage is going to be my percent. So it's going to be 8.8 over 100. I'm going to do cross products again. So I have 20 times 8.8. And that's going to give you 176. And then 100 times P is 100P. Divide both sides by 100. And in this case, I would get P is equal to 1.76. So 1.76 is 8.8% of 20. Last example here, it says example 3, it says 70 is 28% of what number? So again, 28 is attached to the percent, so I'm going to put 28 over 100 right away. 70 is, so 70 is going to be the part. And then of what number? That is what's missing. So I'm going to put a W down here for the whole. Cross multiply, so 70 times 100 is 7,000. 28 times W is going to get you 28W. If I divide both the sides by 28, I would see that the whole is 250. So these are 3 great examples to figure out, to see what kind of questions will be asking us to find what. So in example 1, it says, is what percent? There is no number next to the percent, so that's what's missing. In example 2, it says, what number is? So in this case, the missing number is going to be next to the is. And in example 3, it says of what number. So the what number is going to be the whole. It's next to the of. All right, let's turn the page over now And let's look at a word problem. So it says, example 4, in a 9-year span, Serena Williams won both the U.S. Open and Wimbledon twice. In what percent of both tournaments combined during these years was Serena Williams the women's champ? Round to the nearest tenth of a percent, which means I'm looking for the percentage. So I'm going to put percent over 100. Now it says in a 9-year span, she won U.S. Open and Wimbledon twice. So it says in what percent of both tournaments combined during those years was she the champion? Well, that'd be twice out of 9 years. If I do the cross products, 2 times 100 is 200, and 9 times the percent is 9. I'm going to substitute R for the percent. That's going to be important as we move forward. Divide both sides by 9, and now I get my percentage, or my rate, as 22.2 repeating percent. It says to round to the nearest tenth of a percent, which means that this is going to be 22.2%. And if we answer in the form of a sentence, it says Serena Williams won both the U.S. Open and Wimbledon in the same year, 22.2% of the time over 9 years. So when we are using the percent proportion, it's very helpful to be able to kind of put a square around numbers that we know, and maybe underline what number that goes with. So for example, in example 1, 2, and 3, we put a square around 12, and we knew that 12 is going to be the is. We put a square around the word what, and we knew that what was going to be the percent. And we put a square around 32, and we knew that 32 was going to be the of. So finding those 3 pieces of information will help you in order to solve these questions. That is the end of lesson 1. If you have any questions, please let me know.